Real YouTube is change the intro. Ah! Happy Halloween. Don't forget to drink water and stay hydrated. For the record, I would have yelled louder if I lived alone. I just don't live alone. I don't want to upset the cat, okay? Okay, guys. Anyway, hello, what's up? Today we're talking about Galarian Zapdos, which is one of the 3 new birds introduced in, well, new is kind of the wrong word, but one of the 3 reworked birds introduced in the Crown Tundra. We talked about Galarian Articuno already. But yeah, basically the 3 Cantonian birds got a major rework. It's interesting because Zapdos, like, if I had to rank the Cantonian birds before, like how in their original forms, I would say, okay, Zapdos S or A tier depending on the format, Articuno F tier, Moltres F tier, right? And so, like, it's funny because Zapdos, although it's like still, like, Galarian Zapdos is good in my opinion, like it's still a good Pokemon. However, the interesting thing is that, like, it had a lot less to gain, and because you can only use one Zapdos form on your team, like, obviously they do different things, and you're gonna want, you know, you're gonna want them for different reasons. That being said, it's like, it's kind of funny because, like, the difference between how Zapdos is, like, between, like, how good Zapdos was before and how good Zapdos is now is like, it's a significant difference. That being said, I think that Galarian Zapdos plays in an entirely different way than Cantonian Zapdos, and so I think thinking about them as different Pokemon is probably more helpful in general. Yeah. I'm not sure, like, even which of the 2 is better. My gut says that Cantonian Zapdos is still better. That being said, Galarian Zapdos fulfills a different niche. It's different in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, like, it's still a good Pokemon. So, with that being said, let's do what we always do. We're going to take a look at the typing, which is Fighting Flying. An interesting typing. I know Hawlucha gets this. I can't remember if anything else gets this combination of typing. I think it might just be Hawlucha. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just Hawlucha who gets it. So, like, it's interesting. It's interesting typing, right? It's, like, Flying is a really good offensive typing. Defensively, I don't love this combination. You're weak to Electric, Ice, Psychic, Flying. Flying being a major one, because Flying types should be, like, spiking in power in the current metagame with Landorus, with the 3 Galarian birds, with Salamence, with Zapdos, regular form, with Dragonite even, having potential. So Flying is not a great type to be weak to. That being said, I don't think it's the end of the world. Electric is also a type that's, like, you know, not great to be weak to as well, but again, not the end of the world. Like, all of these birds are going to be weak. But the interesting thing is that Zapdos has Defiant. So Defiant's a really cool ability. It's similar to Competitive, but for physical attacks. There's kind of a major difference between Defiant and Competitive, though, because with Competitive, like, if the opponent does Intimidate, which is the, like, ability that will lower a stat on switch-in, which is, like, kind of unique, then you get double special attack. However, if you Intimidate a Defiant Pokemon, it's like -1 attack plus 2 attack, so it's only net +1, so it's, like, not as good against Intimidate. Like, it's still great against Intimidate. Defiant's one of the best abilities to have against an Intimidate Pokemon, but, like, the benefit is slightly less, and Intimidate is going to be the most common way, or at least in the past has always been the most common way to get these Defiant and Competitive abilities to activate. So, but Defiant is still super good, don't get me wrong. And even beyond, like, the fact that, like, okay, yes, like, Defiant's not as good, it doesn't give you as much as Competitive. The real point of Defiant is that you can't be intimidated in the first place. So it's not about, like, I guess if you think about it that way, it's actually more than Competitive, right? Because a -1 attack is a 2/3 reduction, whereas a +1 attack is a 1.5 times boost. So, like, I think if you do the math, that's actually greater, like, because it's 3/2 divided by 2/3, which is 9/4, right? So it's, like, actually slightly, okay, never mind, I'm wrong. It's actually stronger, given that you would be at -1 otherwise. So, yeah, Defiant is really good because it makes it so that you can't drop the attack set of this thing. You can burn it, and that's kind of your only option. So, yeah. In terms of stats, I think that's the next thing I want to look at. Base 100 speed is good. We talked about this before. Base 100 is a really, really nice milestone to be at. You'll speed tie with some Pokemon. You'll outspeed a lot of Pokemon. Base 100 is really good. You can see that basically Zapdos just gets a slight rework. 5 extra defense. Where did that come from? Huh. They just gave it 5 more defense for no real reason, which is fine. And then special attack to attack. Now, Zapdos is a Pokemon that's, like, known for being relatively bulky. In the past, you wouldn't really invest in its speed. On most sets, you'd invest primarily in HP and then give it Tailwind, and then, yeah, like, HP, special attack, bulk, and make it, like, a super bulky Pokemon. Sometimes it would run Roost. Sometimes it would often run Tailwind, and, yeah, it would just be a solid support Pokemon in general that also had some offensive pressure. Now, you can see that Galarian Zapdos actually has better defensive stats, which is interesting, I think. I like, because even regular Zapdos, like, has good defensive stats. The difference is that the typing is a lot worse. Electric Flying is phenomenal typing because you're not weak to Electric. And Electric is only weak to Ground, which obviously Flying covers, so it's phenomenal defensive typing. Fighting Flying isn't as good, so even though this thing is better bulk, it'll probably feel less bulky than Cantonian Zapdos. Looking at the moves, I think this is going to be somewhat similar to Articuno, where you kind of have some solid moves overall that you know you're using. They gave it a new move, Thunderous Kick. Now, spoilers, this is the worst of the 3 signature moves of the birds. It's a 100% chance to lower the target's defense stat, but it's only 90 base power. So I haven't seen what people are using on this thing. Actually, I will look at that up in a second when we get to that part of the video. But because this is only 90 base power and because there's better alternatives, I think most of the time you're not going to run Thunderous Kick on this thing unless... It depends on how you're using this. If you want to use it like in a bulky sense, then maybe you do. But yeah, like I think most of the time you're going to prefer a stronger fighting type move. But Thunderous Kick is there. Detect, better than Protect. The reason is because if they imprison Protect, you still get access to Detect. So if you have the option, you should always run Detect over Protect. So just like a little slight optimization. Close Combat. So this is the fighting move you're most likely going to want to run. Close Combat is a much stronger fighting type move, especially it's almost 1.5 times stronger than Thunderous Kick. So we already have 2 of the moves most Zapdos sets are going to run: Detect, Close Combat. We see some support moves here. We see Bulk Up, we see Quick Guard, we see Agility and Light Screen, which you're probably not using. And then we look at the TR moves and TM moves. So it gets Drill Peck as well. It's spoilers. We're going to be running Brave Bird, I think, most of the time. But you get access to Drill Peck again. If you want to run like Drill Peck, Thunderous Kick instead of Close Combat Brave Bird, you can do that. Zapdos gets Hail, like base Zapdos. I actually didn't know that. And Sandstorm. I didn't know that either. Steel Wing is like a coverage move, I guess. I don't think you should run Steel Wing most of the time, but maybe if you want like the max coverage, you have the option. Bounce. I don't know why I called that Bounce. It's already got Brave Bird. Assurance is an option. It's not going to be great. Like, it's good against Psychic types, but like unless your team is specifically weak to like certain Psychic types, don't run Assurance. Hit your Impulse. Stomping Tantrum is actually a solid move. Does it get? I wonder if it gets high horsepower. Birds are kind of like horses. Let's see what else here. Baton. It's only Cantonian Zapdos. Taunt. Okay, Taunt is a really good move. Blaze Kick, Brave Bird, only Wild Charge for this one. They both get Hurricane, Throat Chop, Coaching, Dual Wing Beat, and that's it. Okay, cool. So, taking a look at. Oh, I was already in this one. Taking a look at Zapdos Galar. It's a bit more complex than Articuno. I think that this thing has a number of different sets it can run. The real thing is that the support moves are like not as solid. Like, you don't get access to Tailwind unlike Articuno. You don't even get access to Roost unlike Articuno, which gets Recover. But you still have some things you can do. So I think most of the time your default set's going to have Detect, Close Combat, and Brave Bird. I think this is a decent Life Orb user, actually. Like, if you get into position, because you can't intimidate it, it should be actually pretty strong. That being said, it definitely requires some kind of speed control, because it's not, like, especially with Life Orb, it's not very bulky, given the poor defensive typing. But, like, just taking a look at this thing, let's see, how much damage is Zapdos? I'm just curious. Let's take a look at Zapdos versus a pretty bulky Pokemon. Let's see how it does versus Tapu Fini. Let's see if max Life Orb Brave Bird versus Tapu Fini. Okay, so it's not KOing. With Helping Hand, you can get it, or like with a bit of chip. So like this is a lot of damage. Like it's not OHKOing, of course, but like it would be kind of worrying if it was, I guess, because yeah, Tapu Fini is an extremely bulky Pokemon. But like, take a look at the other Pokemon in the metagame. Like it's just kind of awkward into the metagame. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, it's okay, it's good against Sinnoh and Landorus, but it's not good against Metagross, it's not good against Fini, it's not good against Regieleki, it's not really good versus... I think Glastrier, if it Dynamaxes, will definitely survive. I'm not even sure if you can OHKO it with regular... Okay, Close Combat gets it. Oh, that's no HP, max HP. Yeah, without Life Orb, you don't even get it with Close Combat. I think Zapdos is actually, like, I don't think it's a bad Pokemon at all. Oh, wait, well, maybe I'm wrong. What are people doing with it? Okay, people are running Thunderous Kick, Brave Bird, Protect, and Detect. Okay, interesting. Huh. Wait, oh wait, no, what am I saying? Oh, okay. It's weird. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna say it. This is a weird Pokemon. It's actually like pretty good in the metagame. I'm not sure if this is like new Toy Syndrome, because like, okay, I guess to be fair, while it isn't good against Tapu Fini or Metagross or Regieleki, and like it's questionable versus Glastrier, it is like it is really good against Incineroar and Landorus, and those are the number 1 and number 3 most used Pokemon. Additionally, as we get further down, it's good against Cortana, good against Rillaboom, bad, good. I'm actually surprised to see the thing so high in usage. I'm not gonna lie. It does not seem like it should be that high in usage based on the metagame, but maybe there's things that I'm missing. Anyway, I think if you're running Life Orb, your last move is going to be a coverage move, whether that's Steel Wing, whether that's Throat Chop, kind of whatever you need. Like, whatever's strongest in the metagame. I wonder if this probably doesn't know for Metagross. But there's other stuff you can do this as well. I think this is actually a pretty decent Focus Sash user, minus the fact that, like... minus the fact that Brave Bird will KO you, but there's been birds with there's been Brave Bird users with Focus Sash before. I think most of the time you're gonna want to use an EV spread that's like just max on this thing, because although like the bulk isn't bad, the defensive typing is really bad, and it's weak to like so much in the metagame right now that like I don't think that you investing in bulk is really gonna do that much. I think Focus Sash is totally fine. I think this is like a nice kind of what does this remind me of? This kind of set. It's like a really annoying Pokemon to lead, right? Like, let's say you have a Trick Room team and they have Taunt, or you have a Moongus or a Redirector and they have Taunt, and then you can't one-shot them because of Focus Sash, and then you can't intimidate them or use certain max moves because you're afraid of Defiant. I think this is a pretty solid Pokemon. A pretty solid set to kind of just be annoying in the lead. It's like an annoying lead Pokemon. So I think this thing definitely can work. I just think that it's like it's in an awkward spot based on the other Pokemon that are popular. You also have the option of like using moves like Choice Band and Choice Scarf. I guess you could do. I genuinely don't think they're super good. Maybe Choice Scarf is okay actually. I wouldn't use Choice Band. Actually, what you could do is wait. How fast is Regieleki Modest? I'm gonna do some math. It's like 252, right? God, okay. I don't think we can outspeed this. There's no way we outspeed this. It's Modest Regieleki is 1 point above Jolly Zapdos. That's so funny. Okay, well, we can't outspeed Regieleki. But that being said, I do still think that a Choice Scarf set could be good. Some speed on here, enough to outspeed, like, slow Regieleki, maybe. Or, like, just don't use... Or, like, maybe you use Lightning Rod with this. I don't know. But, like... Because it gets Thunderous Kick, which is like a solid move on its own, and it also lowers defense, you could pair this with like a fast physical attacker and just use it to like really quickly put on offensive pressure. Because like Thunderous Kick partnered with fast physical attacker means that like it's like Helping Hand, but you actually get to do damage first, and you can't intimidate them. So actually, a set like this could be really good. I think if you pair this with the right physical attacker, or yeah, like even if it's like what if you did this with like Landorus? Like it's double flying, but like. You have Landorus for ground types. What does this thing get? Bulldoze? No Bulldoze. Oh, other options as well. If you want to do this, like, maybe you don't run Thunderous Kick, maybe you're in coaching, right? And you say, okay, well, I'm pairing this thing with a physical attacker, and they're just going to be super strong. So, I do think this thing actually has some use cases. I think Choice Scarf is actually not a bad item at all. I am worried about Regieleki, though, so you can't really use it versus Regieleki. But yeah, overall, I think that this Pokemon is... I'm making a prediction that the usage will go down. That's my read here. I don't think that the usage is I think that other Pokemon will go up. I think that Galarian Zapdos will go down. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. But that's my prediction. Yeah, it's got a lot going for it. It's got really strong stab moves and Brave Bird in close combat. It's got a good ability it's got like one of the best abilities for a physical Pokemon in the game. It's got a good move pool with like good coverage and some decent support moves like Taunt and Coaching and well, not really Bulk Up, but like yeah, Taunt and Coaching. But yeah, like I said, the metagame is pretty unfavorable to it right now. So I think that you're gonna if you want to use Zapdos, you're gonna be pretty smart about it. I think at least if you want to use it well. That being said, Define is still a great ability. There's still some unique things it can do, and I don't think it's a bad Pokemon at all. I think it's just in an awkward spot right now. Is my statement on it. So yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of Zapdos progresses as we play more of Crown Tundra and as more and more of this metagame. I'm curious to see what is the standard set on this thing. I expect maybe Scarf or Sash, but it could be a lot of different things. I wonder if a bulky variant will do well as well. So that's it. That's all I have to say about it. Let me know what you think about Zapdos in the comments down below. This one's confusing for me. I'm not totally sure how good it is, but yeah, I think it definitely has a place. That's my statement. So thanks for watching. Let me know what Pokemon you want me to cover next. Yeah, that'll be Moltres, but After that, I'll be taking suggestions. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.